Hi, PSE students. Welcome to part one of the literature review portion of your capstone research project. In these overview videos, just going to provide some basic information to help you approach your literature review for the capstone research project. To begin, the purpose of a literature review is to situate your study in the context of the extant literature. This means that based on the literature that you find related to your topic, you're using that to help the reader understand what your study is all about and basically to provide a roadmap for what you're going to be addressing through your study. The second purpose for a literature review is to help identify gaps in the existing literature and further discuss the ways that your study will fill those gaps. One of the big pieces for approaching a literature review is this distinction between summary and synthesis. Now these are my words on this slide, and so want to make sure that you understand this is Dr. Burke saying this and it is not being drawn from other sources. But for me, a summary is really just a regurgitation of what others have said. There's utility to that at times, but we don't want our entire literature review to simply be according to Burke 2012 ... and then the next paragraph is according to Tinto 1975 ... We want to move from that towards synthesis, and in synthesis we are relating the previously published work that we found and setting it in a particular context, and that context being your individual study. So a little bit more about summary. A summary represents a condensed restatement in your own words of what another person has said, basically trying to boil down the core message or argument from another author. Short summaries are important. They help us bring focus from the things that we're citing and things that we've read that relate to our topic. But where we don't want to get into, like I mentioned on the previous slide, is just moving from one summary to the next. That's not a literature review, that's a literature summary. And in the context of setting up your capstone research project, what you want is a literature review, which again is all about situating your study in the context of existing literature. Synthesis is really about interpreting what you've read from those other sources and piecing them together in a way that helps provide an informed perspective of a topic or a perspective or a way of looking at things. A synthesis process draws together relationships between different sources and helps provide explanation for how they contribute to a new and deeper understanding of your topic. Well, the truth is you really do need to use both. And the web address that's at the bottom of this slide is a PDF document from which I drew the wording on the last two slides. So I want to make sure I provide the appropriate credit to where I borrowed something. But there's also some other good tips on addressing both summary and synthesis. Again, both are important in your CRP, but we want to move more heavily on the synthesis side where you're relating existing works to your topic. That's going to wrap it up for part one, and from here we're going to move into part two, which is in which we'll delve into some of the nuts and bolts of actually finding literature and sorting through all the things that you're going to find related to your topics.